Hello, greetings. This is Matthew Sullivan. I am doing the reflection recording, obviously, for UNCW and my pre-earned internship class. So today, from our little extra bedroom studio, we're going to take a look and reflect on Standard 2. So Standard 2 is basically from an artifact perspective, where the school executives will set high standards for professional practice of the 21st century instructional skills and assessments that result sort of in a no-nonsense accountability environment. And in our school at Williston, and I will reflect a little bit later on some of the practices of the same skill set at Harvard High School, where I'll be starting in the next week or two. So, being on the school improvement team over the past 3 years, we are constantly looking at improvements. We've had a change in our leadership, so there have been some differences with that. But to be honest, it has been the most effective team that I've been on this year, besides some of the other things that I'm doing with my current instructional team. So I chose to interview our assistant principal, Mr. Swanson. He is not here, and he looks nothing like this Buddha. But I, with testing and everything, we just were not able to connect. So I just had him just message me some of the questions. So I'm going to kind of be creating some dialogue from some of the questions I did with him. So I'm working with him on discipline and other pieces. He's also in charge of our PBIS as far as from the administrative end. And then so I've been helping implement some ideas there. So that was the brief definition of standard two. So when I asked Mr. Swanson, to put standard two, the instructional leadership piece in his own words, quote, he said that it's to provide an instructional framework for the school, and that ranges from BT support to PLCs, walkthroughs, and sustainable feedback. So all those pieces are important in that standard too. For me, reflecting, I think of my experience as a curriculum resource teacher in a public charter where I worked, and also as an AIG teacher where we're helping the administration with pretty much everything. So that instructional team used to be the principal, and now that's part of the overall piece that I'm currently on as the instructional team. So we do meetings with our principal, me and the other two coaches, and we just hash out everything from data to behaviors to celebrations to all the things that we're currently doing. And then in addition to that, we have the PLCs on Monday, our math and reading, and then we also supplement social studies and science. That's more on a bi-monthly basis. I asked Mr. Swanson what he thinks are some key takeaways for a new administrator and how in this activity that we do can be different as other levels. So he also felt the biggest piece with the standard is to create an organizational vision. He's very philosophical and has a very good plan for success, and his vision that draws on the strengths of the people in the building. And building capacity is a key component. So I think that's when we're reflecting on specific artifacts of this standard, that is where our school is massively struggling in. We're going to have a very large teacher turnover this year, and looking at the data, it's not really good for how the teachers are feeling in the building or recommendations. So that's something we're going to have to rebuild. Um, he also felt that it is important within this standard to use faculty meetings to highlight great instruction, as well as model classroom expectations and presentations. One of our most effective launches through Standard 2 this year was that we put the first 10 days where we bundle all of the behavior, all of the expectations, and I think that's something that we're going to be moving forward with. As far as current research related to the topic, that I've kind of transitioned to a lot of podcasts where I feel personally that I'm able to benefit a little bit more. I put some things on Instagram. I'm also, Mr. Swanson and I are big fans of Nick Saban, the former Alabama, and a lot of parallels with education and leadership specifically that have to do with with sports, which I think is a lot of some very, very big parallels. The last question we asked him was specific challenges, and he feels the challenges for a principal are making instruction a priority. So it's hard to get there when other pieces are not aligned. So he's big in just having everybody and everything be aligned through the standard and what your operations are. Um, some other philosophies and three keys to maximizing impact are also from a person called Michael Fullan, and I put his book called The Principle. And the most central part of a learning leader is one who models learning, but also shapes the conditions for all to learn on a continuous basis. And this book focuses on what new principles need to be when you're doing it. It's a great resource that I'll put in for you. So I reflect on the standard, we can see that it's changed back in the day when I was learning and starting out teaching. The principal kind of did everything. Now the standard two, the principal oversees what his or her vision goal is, but more importantly, empowers the teachers to implement the vision of the plan. Thank you.